You are onto a life-transforming experience as Pastor Prince Abah brings you God's Word with deep insight and power. God bless you.
When you see what men are doing, when you see some records men are outstriping, you can't be sleeping and dozing off. You will be doing overtime. You can't be looking at your skin. You can't be looking at your clothes. You'll be doing overtime. If I was on this campus, I can guarantee you, up to that gallery will be few. How many students do you have on this campus? How many students do you have on this campus? Maybe 10,000, maybe 8,000. I will pack all of them off for you. And I don't need flyers to do it. I don't need banners to do it. All I need is aggressiveness. I will knock on every door. I will knock even up to 12. You're time conscious, that's your problem. Because you have watch, you're looking at your watch. It's 7 o'clock, I need to go and eat. Comfort zone. One reason we need a youth revolution, let me show you that. Why does the youth need the revolution? Number one, ignorance and mass illiteracy amongst youths. It seems like this one has become the order of the day. Before, school used to be a citadel for raising intellectuals, for raising informed people. Nowadays, school has become the number one place for raising the most ignorant people. Mass illiteracy, ignorance. I meet youths, I talk to them about basic things in life. They don't know. You should be ashamed you don't know who Tyler Perry is. Big shame. That's why you have all kinds of vices going here. Cultism is at the height in Afikpo. I heard about it. Afikpo is the only place you wake up at 6 a.m. People are already in their parlor drinking. It's a big eyesore. Afikpo is the oldest city in the southeast. Oldest city in the southeast. Their stupid culture running this environment. Light has refused to come to this part of the world. What is going on here? When I'm talking about light, I'm not talking about Nepal light. I'm talking about the light of deliverance, the light of emancipation. I heard there's a culture, whatever, festival going on tomorrow. And any lady they see on the road, they will whip the lady. What kind of culture is that? Who does that in this civilized age? I'm not a pastor, I'm a table shaker. I'm a reformer. So the way I talk sometimes offend people. And you have to forgive me, I'm not a conventional person. If you know me, you know I'm not normal. It's stupidity for somebody to be standing in front of you and talking and you get up and walk out. What if that person is your employer tomorrow? You see why some youths are stupid and fail. Why youths are failing? Because we don't have brain. We do things and we think it's our life, it's normal. We don't think. It's part of the ignorance problem we're suffering. The level of illiteracy in this generation is high. So do you know Tyler Perry? No, I don't. You should be ashamed of that. Anybody in this age who doesn't know him is really ignorant. What do you know about history? What do you know about slave trade? What do you know about even the independence of Nigeria? What do you know about basic things of life? It's beyond what you're studying in school. It's beyond what you're reading in your classroom. We are living in what you call 21st century. We are living in what you call a global village. That means you can be in your village and be connected to the globe. Some of you use smartphones. You use, what do you call them? Laptops. That is the world in your hand. You see a lot of young people using what technology has provided to make life easy for us, using it the wrong way. I met somebody in his phone, he had more than 60 pornographic sites. 60 pornographic video. And you look at the phone, it's an iPhone, and he can connect to the world and learn about everything he wants to learn about. You don't need to go to Harvard University to get a degree now. You can sit at the comfort of your house and download all the lectures in Harvard University and upgrade yourself. That you are in Afikpo here, you are in Wanapoli does not mean anything. Ignorance. That's why you have a nation where 80, 90-year-old people are running your government and you have no vision for politics. Because you are ignorant. The Commonwealth has been carted away by a few cabals. Old men who should be resting in their villages are playing within the corridors of power. Why? Because youths are unprepared. Youths don't want to read. Youths don't want to study. You have replaced studying and learning with all kinds of jamboree. Go to your hostels and see how you play music on the highest volume. Now, campus coupling have replaced reading. Everybody now has a girlfriend. Every girl now has a boyfriend. The girl doesn't have a boyfriend, it seems like I'm unfashionable. It's like I don't make sense. I met a lady who told me, she said, I won't believe for 2 months, no guy has asked me out. Are you sure I'm normal, sir? My friends don't have boyfriend. Nobody's asking me for anything called relationship. I said, and that's what is giving you depression. He said, yes, I'm depressed, sir. It's not normal. Am I not fine? I said, you're finished. Don't go and get your future. When you find your life as a woman, when you get a future as a woman, people will not be checking whether you're fine or not. Do you know a lady called Oprah Winfrey? Do you know Oprah Winfrey? You know she's not fine. Facially, she's ugly. She's a short woman. But do you know she's one of the richest women in the world? I think I even heard she's the second black richest woman in the world. Second black richest woman in the world. Or second richest woman in the world. So either of them. I think she's not married yet. Not because she doesn't want to. She has a queue of men. But some of you, Oprah Winfrey comes to you now as a guy and say, please, will you be my husband? You will be the one to kneel down and propose. You say, I will gladly be your husband, both in now, even in death, anywhere, anyhow you want it, I'm here. Why? Because of who she is. You won't be looking at whether she's fine or not. Because she has a life. Do you know Oprah Winfrey was told one time that she shouldn't venture entering anything that has to do with broadcasting? Why? Because they say she didn't have a television face. She didn't have a broadcasting voice. That's what the teacher told her. And the lady felt bad hearing that. But she looked within herself, believed in what she's carrying, and developed it. Worked on it. Now she has one of the biggest TV platform you can talk about in the world. That TV platform has interviewed the best of people all over the world. It has interviewed almost all the recent American and past presidents. That was the platform that gave Obama the White House. It was Oprah Winfrey's TV show that launched Obama beyond the horizon. That was where Obama cast his vision for the world to hear. That TV show. Oprah Winfrey has hosted Bill Clinton, hosted all kinds of people, world leaders. There's nobody she can't interview. Yeah, that's the woman they told you can't make it. You are ugly. You don't have a TV face. You don't have a radio voice. And she was disqualified from going to take a course in communication in her school. Why? Because they say you don't fit in. But the woman looked within and saw what she could offer her generation and went ahead of her limitation. And today, see where she is. Some of you rely on the education you get in school and you call that information, you call that knowledge, you call that education. Education goes beyond the 4 walls of school. In fact, the biggest part of your education is not in the school. The school gives you only 20% of education. Whether you say yes or not, I'm telling you the truth. I'm not teaching you what you should hear. I'm teaching you what you should go and do. Because really, we are good at hearing and saying yes, sir. Am I saying you shouldn't say yes, sir? Say yes, sir. By the end of your yes, sir, go and practice what I'm teaching you. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Are you hearing what I'm saying? Practice it. It will help you. Let me give you another person. I've talked about Oprah Winfrey. I give you a second person who you should, and when I teach you, go and study about these characters. Study Oprah. See, they had imposed limitation, but they went beyond their limitations. Another person you should look at very critically is Ben Carson. Go and study him. You know Ben Carson? Another person you should go and study is Albert Einstein. Do you know Albert Einstein? Do you know him? Oh, you have to go and study these people. Albert Einstein is a scientist. His teachers said to him one day in class, Albert, school is not for you. You are a dullard. You are not too intelligent. You are dull. Find something else and do it your life. School is not for you. And the boy went back home crying, weeping, crying. And so he's a dullard. He's a stupid human being. He can't learn anything in life. So his mother came back and saw him weeping. I said, Abah, why are you crying? He said, see what my teacher said. He said, I'm a dullard, I'm a fool, I can't learn, I am this and that, and what have you. Guess what happened? The mother said, Albert, don't let what your teachers say define who you are. You are better than even that your teacher. All you need to do is look within you and see the unrefined, the untapped potentials that are embedded in you and start developing it. Something in Albert say, really? So there's greatness inside me and I didn't know. So I have something to offer my generation and it's inside me, and this woman was telling me I don't have anything to offer. And then he began to work on himself. The same dullard became the greatest scientist that has ever lived. We don't know who the teacher is, but the whole world knows about Einstein. Because greatness is not in your environment, it's inside you. Greatness is not in the school you attend, it's inside. If you end up not achieving greatness, it's not because of your environment, it's largely you. You are the reason you failed. Nobody has the right to brand you a failure without your permission. Hello? Nobody has a right to call you a failure. Nobody has a right to even make you a failure except with your consent. He has become the greatest scientist that has ever lived in history. Why? Because these guys went beyond the four walls of school and they developed themselves. If there's anything trapping your potentials from becoming full-blown, from becoming manifested to the world, from becoming whatever, evident, it is because you are ignorant about what you are carrying. When I'm talking about ignorance, I'm not talking about ignorance of your school books. You can get a first class and still be an illiterate. I know many literate first class people. True literacy is in finding out what is inside you, finding out what you're deposited with, finding out what you are born to achieve and achieving it. That is true literacy. A literate man is a man who knows what is inside him, is a man who is doing everything in his power to refine and tap into the potentials that God has put. If you are carrying head knowledge of what these things they teach you in school, and you don't carry potential knowledge of your purpose, knowledge of your calling, knowledge of your destiny, you are the most illiterate man in the world. So there's too much of ignorance in our generation. People do not know who they are. People don't know anything about history. How has history been shaped? Which people shaped history? Which people affected history? I've written a whole book. It will be published by January next year. It's titled Legacy. And that book is a compendium of men, stories, biographies of men who turned the world upside down. Men like Benjamin Franklin. Men like Nelson Mandela. Because one thing about reading history is that it does only give you insight into what happened with great men, it also gives you insight to what you too can do to leave a mark in your own generation. Is somebody hearing what I'm saying? The study of history helps you find out what you can also do to make history. If there's anything that gives me a clue to who I am and to what I'm carrying, it is the study of history. Not just the study of only history, the study of books. It's not school books. I'm not talking about going to read history and international relations. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about studying real things that exposes life to you, exposes your environment, exposes the you that is hidden inside of you, exposes real treasures that are lying dormant. That's what I'm talking about. You need knowledge about that. The day Tyler Perry built his studio, if you go to Tyler Perry's studio in America, it's amazing. It's a whole, how many hectares of land? It used to be a forest, a complete forest. Trees only and bush everywhere. He bought the place. People were saying, Tyler, what is this nonsense you're talking? There's nothing here. He said, don't worry, give me a few years, I'll turn you into a city. Cleared the whole place. And what has he done so far? Built everything you want to see in America is in Tyler Perry City. It's a studio, a movie studio. Hectares of it's bigger than your campus put into 10. One man bought it, and if you see, you need to just go and Google it, Tyler Perry. You'll see his recently, you see videos. And then when you study things like that, it inspires you to do something in your own generation. You will not die small. Ignorance is the problem. When was the last time you picked a good book and read? I've read in my lifetime more than 3,000 books. So you see the way I am, don't be surprised. What is even 3,000 books? The last time I even talked about 3,000 books was more than 4 years ago. Anytime I read books are like hammers. It breaks. You see, if you want to eat egg, I ate one in the car while I was coming. You need to remove the shells. Hello? When you read book does to you what your fingers does to the shell of an egg. The hidden you that is trapped inside of you is unveiled. That's what book does. I didn't fall from the sky like this. There are materials I've read that have made me material. It's beyond school, sir. 21st century ignorance is not an inability to read and write. Let me ask you a question. They define for us that literacy is the ability to read and write. Is that correct? And then the yardstick for measuring literacy is English language. Can I shock you? That you can speak English doesn't mean you are literate. Because English is somebody's dialect. English is somebody's native language. Is a native language of the British. So they told you in Africa, in Nigeria, that literacy is ability to speak Queen's English. Then you can speak and write, you are illiterate. You are a liar. That's not true. I've seen people who don't know how to speak English language, who are more informed than people who know how to speak English, who have more knowledge than people who know how to speak English. So let me ask you a question. A man who speaks only French, do you say he's not literate? Do you know there are very powerful, intelligent guys, French guys, who don't know even letter A. Who don't know anything in English close to letter A. But they're the ones developing some of your technologies. Okay, what about China? Most Chinese don't know how to speak English, are you aware? They're the ones developing your technologies, your phones, your laptops, some of your Bluetooth and the rest of them. Chinese. Yeah, they speak ching ching chong. They don't know how to speak English. Nigerians are bragging that they are intelligent with English language. Who told you? 21st century ignorance is not inability to speak English language or write English language. 21st century ignorance is inability to discover who you are. Inability to communicate with your environment. That's 21st century ignorance. A man who does not know his environment, who does not know how to intermingle and interrelate with his environment, is an illiterate. For instance, what environment are you living in now? What environment? Who can answer? What environment? School environment. That's why you are an illiterate. You are not in school environment. You are in global village. Hey, Hey, I say you are in a what? Global environment. You see this your school is in a global map. Oh. You're not aware? Are you aware? If somebody from America drops in Afikpo now, and he doesn't know the road to this place, he does not need to ask any question. All he needs to do is do what I do in my car. Just do GPS. On your screen, the route that takes you to this place will just display. You even have it on your phone. It will just direct you. All the route will be showing on the Google map. You'll be hearing one fine voice. At the 5th turn, take left. Go a little further, take right. You'll be hearing all those things. You don't need to ask anybody any question again. Because this your Wana is registered in the global map. I think that's what I'm saying. So let me ask you again, which environment are you living in now? Global environments, not school environments. That's why all you know is what they are doing in Wana. That's why you don't know Tyler Perry. Do you know there's in Washington? With the aid of the internet, with the aid of social media, the world has now been networked as one. There's nothing like Afikpo in the world's map again. What I mean by that is that the world is now one. So Afikpo is just a subset of the entire globe. A 21st century illiterate is a man who knows all the book in the world but doesn't know how to relate to his environment. And your environment is not equal, it's not Afikpo. Your environment is the world. So when we say be a global person, we're not telling you be whatever. You can be so knowledgeable and be local. I can be in Abakaliki and be all things to all men. If I come to Wana, I can behave like Wana people. Can talk like them, behave. If I go to America, I shouldn't behave like a Wana person. Because from here, I know how Americans behave. So there's that idea. So you go to Rome, behave like what? A Rome. Is that correct? Yeah. Apostle Paul said, I have become all things to all men, so that by through every means I can do what? Win them all. What that means is this. In life, you need to learn how to intermingle with your environment. You need to know the cultural differences within your environment. You need to know what works in an environment and what doesn't work in the other environment. And know how to interrelate and intermingle with all these factors. And whether you like it or not, your university does not have all the curriculum to teach you everything that is in the world. The world is trending with speech. The information of yesterday, today has become obsolete. Hello. It's only in Africa where news of yesterday or news of 2 years ago is still trending on social media. Or still trending on newspaper. In developed nations, what is news today is no longer news. Some of things you're studying in school now are things that they studied, it used to be trendy 30 years ago. Here's a polytechnic. I know you guys deal more with practical things. Is that correct? Some of the things you're studying in classroom have been long gone, obsolete, 30 years ago. You're still using it around this part of the world, but other schools in developed nations have updated. When you watch some of these white movies, do you see the difference between their movies and our movie? For instance, when they show you Nigerian hospitals in movie, it looks so shabby, looks so dirty. You can even perceive the drugs from the TV. You can perceive the injection, everything, you just see your TV start smelling the thing out. When you watch some of those movies, like there's in Washington movies, Angelina Jolie movies, you watch some of those Brad Pitt movies, you watch some of those trendy movies by these white guys. They show you their hospitals, you see it's clean. They show you their theater, it's so clean. When they show you the ambulance, when they are going to do emergency, whatever, rescue, you see it's clean. They show you your own ambulance, 544 Peugeot wagon, and then outdated, broken, and all kinds of. Hello? You see, it's two different words. So when you watch it, you see that the kind of environment you have here is different from the one that is there. So recently, they sent 300 medical students, medical practitioners, not students, from Nigeria to do a particular course abroad. And I think that was France, World Medical School in France. So when they got there, they had to spend 1 week or 2 weeks to do that studies. Within that 2 weeks, there were new set of implements they introduced them to. About 300 set of implements, new medical implements they introduced these medical doctors to. Do you know what is shocking? Of all the 300 medical doctors, consultants, resident doctors, and experts that were sent to France, World Medical School, to go and study, World Medical Center to go and study a few things, none of them could recognize any of those implements. So when they researched and checked carefully, they found that only 2 out of the 300 Nigerian doctors were able to recognize about 2 instruments out of the 300 instruments. 2 out of the 300, only 2 guys. And those are the most intelligent ones. So the French doctors and some other medical practitioners around the world that came were wondering, how come the world has moved on? This is what we are using now. It's normal to us. Even medical students in our universities abroad know about this implement. How come doctors like you don't know? Is that not why we have high mortality rates in Nigeria and in Africa? Because the world has long moved on, but we are behind. We are busy romancing with ignorance. And then I found that ignorance kills faster than AIDS. It kills faster than AIDS. There are some people who have died some kind of reckless and careless death. And you're wondering, oh, the Lord giveth and the Lord taketh. It's not the Lord that taketh. It's foolishness that took. Ignorance. You hear of some motor accidents and then people die and you're saying, oh, it's the devil that killed. It's not the devil that killed. It's ignorance that killed. I remember I was in a journey just from Afikpo to Enugu to catch a flight or something, and I went on public transport on Peace. I didn't go with my vehicle, so I deliberately entered Peace. While we're going, the man who was on the steering was driving anyhow. People in the car were saying, Abah no. Hey, Abah no. I said, Abah no what? I said, driver, regulate your speed. This is highway. Minimum you should do on this kind of road is so and so speed. Don't overtake like this again. I said, I said, you don't know who I be, oh. You don't know me. I'll do you something in this car now. The guy said, do that you want to do. Let me see what you will do. When we passed farm side and got to the military checkpoint, I opened the door and flagged the military men to stop the bus. They packed the bus, brought the man down. I said, this guy wants to kill us in this bus. He said, what did he do? I said, look, sir, see his mouth. This guy's under drugs. He has taken alcohol. This guy smokes. See his eyes. They gave him the torture of his life that day. They parked that car there for 1 hour plus. They had to send another new car from the park to come and pick us from that place. So when some of the guys realized what I had done, they came to me and was thanking me, thank you, sir. It's like you are a soldier man. I said, I'm not a soldier, I'm a pastor. I only know what you guys don't know. This is why some of you die in accidents anyhow. Some of you enter bus, you start sleeping, you are a big fool. That's when you remember you've not slept for 3 nights. And you don't know who the driver is. He's driving anyhow, and you're sleeping. Then the moment the accident happens, you don't even have opportunity to wake up. You just find yourself in hellfire. When I'm in my own car, like my driver was driving me here, I don't dare blink my eyes. My eyes are on the windscreen. I'm watching. He drives some kind of speed. Slow down. Hey, don't overtake. Take it easy. So I can stay alive. Others enter, and that's when they are doing chatting. You forget your driver, not knowing the condition of mind he is in when he's driving. Me, when I enter a vehicle, I'm checking my driver. Is he sleeping? Some drivers sleep on the steering. Some are under the influence of some things you don't know. Death rate is so high here because of ignorance. Recklessness and carelessness. Tell Africans to read, they won't read. Do you know I know everything about road safety rules? Yet I'm not a road safety official. But I've studied everything about road safety. I have all their documents. I've studied some online. I have some, a hard copy document. I've studied. I know all the rules of driving. Yet I'm not an official of the road safety. Why? Because I drive. I need to know the laws. I need to know the rules that governs driving and governs the use of the road. I know how to interpret every road sign I see on the road. All road signs. Africa and Nigeria has a reputation for recklessness, and we do not care. A few days ago, I was somewhere around Abakaliki, and then what was I doing that night? I think I went to buy suya or something. I went junction, G Hostel Junction, and they did this new speed limit, about 2 bumps. And behold, this trailer just behind the keke. Oh! And I saw that. I looked carefully, only to discover that there were speed bumps there, these speed bumps. I said, who would put bombs like this on the road without putting a conspicuous sign to show that there's a speed limit? At least put a signboard somewhere there, 1 kilometer ahead, speed limit, slow down. Because somebody can be driving to the city for the first time and he doesn't know. You don't put speed bumps on the highway without conspicuous signs. Even me, who is the road safety official, knows that, and I can teach the government that. And they have recorded some accidents on that road because people don't know that there are speed limits there. Because we play with issues of information in this country. Hello. That's why your generation cannot revolt. See, driving from Abakaliki to Afikpo. See your one road. See the way it's looking. So bad. But that road should be taken care of. But you feel it's normal already. In developed nations, it's not like that. Go to Dubai here. I have been privileged to be to that city. That nation was a whole desert. You go there and see how beautiful. It was a desert. Just few years down the line, this whole Dubai became what it is. Dubai is not a country, it's just a city in a country. Yet Dubai is more popular than most countries of the world. Maybe only one nation in Africa is now changing the narrative, Rwanda. Then followed up by Kenya. Africa, Nigeria, giant of Africa is left behind. You go to Rwanda now, the president of Rwanda, Paul, is investing so much in the issue of knowledge. Nations that play with developing their citizens is playing with the most important stuff. But if your nation refuses to give you the right content of development, please, there's what I call self-development, personal development. Buy books by yourself. Go beyond classroom. Attend seminars. I'm sure if I was bringing you just too funny here, or if we brought you, what do you call him, Williams Uchemba, or brought you AY, without invitation, people would even go and pay 5,000 to attend. I've seen people who pay as much as 10,000 just to attend a show that will make them laugh and end you up in stupidity. I've bought hundreds of thousands buying books. Why? Nobody pays you for mediocrity. Nobody pays you for being a fool. Nobody pays you for being ignorant. You only paid for the problems you solve. And you can't solve problems until you have information. You can't solve problems until you're equipped with knowledge. I have no right talking to you if I don't know what I'm saying. Hello? If you're going to be a man of destiny, you have to go back to the issues that really count. One of it is this issue of literacy. This mass ignorance going on everywhere is an eyesore to our generation. It's an eyesore. You need to get up and take your country back from old men who are spoiling it for you. Men who should be retiring and resting by now. That's why I love the likes of Chimamanda Adichie. How many of you know her? You know? Good. Beautiful. Physically beautiful. That's the kind of girls I trip for. I don't trip for big bum. I trip for intelligence. I trip for knowledge. I trip for people who can spend long hours of time reading books. Not reading Chicken and the River. Not reading Things Fall Apart. That's what I'm saying. Not reading erotic novels. Not reading your school books. Going for real books. Leadership books. If you are a president in your fellowship or a president in your department or a SUG or whatever you call it, you should be a Nelson Mandela at your level. I hardly see students who are informed. Hardly see SUG presidents who grab the mic to talk and they are talking like Nelson Mandela. That's what trips me. When you hear it's great book, great bag, great juga. What's all that nonsense? Great coin. Is that what Nelson Mandela did and became Nelson Mandela? Great coin. What is coin? Hello? And when we tell you now, you'll be looking at me, where is this guy coming from? Because you don't understand what I'm saying. Now, let me ask you, how many books do you have in your libraries? Go and access it this night. Your true bank account is your library. It's not your bank. I can tell you what your bank account will end up looking like by looking at your library. I can tell you what your bank account will end up looking like by looking at your library. Do you know I can't even talk about so many other things? I have about 20 of them here. Mind-boggling things. I'll even just end it at this ignorance issue. If that's the best I do for you this night, go with it. Maybe somewhere in the future I'll come back again. Go home, access your library. How much have you spent buying books? If you don't read, you cannot lead. I'm sure if I ask some of you, would you want to be president of Nigeria? You will say yes. But if we put you there, the way some of you are now, you will make more mistakes than Buhari. From January up to this November, how many seminars have you attended? How many trainings have you gone for? I can tell you that this year alone, I've gone for more than 20 trainings, and some of them I had to. Some of my guys are here now. If I tell you why I go for my trainings, as far as Lagos, that's why some of you can't understand me, because I'm coming from a very far as Lagos. You have to pay flights to and fro. Don't go to Lagos by road because the road is not good and it's too far for me. So I go by air. The last one I went, Enugu Airport is short. I had to go by road to Owerri and flew all the way from Owerri to Lagos just to go and do or to learn for 1 week. The other day I took about 5 of my leaders. We flew all the way from Enugu to Lagos, paid 10,000 naira each for our school fees, 1 whole week of training. And after training, we flew back. We didn't go to amusement park. We didn't go to gym. We didn't go to see the beach. We just went to get information. Then you come down to Southeast. Our Igbos and our Southeasterners are looking anyhow. Go to Lagos here. Average Yoruba boys are already leading the world. Some of you need to expose yourself. Let me give you 3 cardinal things you must invest in if you want to be a man of high-tech proficiency. Number 1, invest in knowledge. Number 2, invest in exposure. Exposure. Part of it is traveling. This is how to deal with this issue of ignorance. How do you invest in knowledge? It's by buying books and reading it. It's by attending seminars. It's by attending symposium, conferences. Anywhere you hear of a seminar, go there and attend it. Stop being the kind of person who is running after frivolities. You hear AY is in town, that's the one you go for. Can AY better your life? You just go to watch a man who is making millions by coming to entertain you. But you don't know that AY is developing himself in the area of entertainment. As I'm talking to you now, he's in America. Ask me how I know, I won't tell you. You see Williams, Uchemba, my friend, and the rest of them, traveling the world. You're wondering, flying private jet to making you laugh. How do you think they create all those their comedy skits? You watch Basket Mouth, Lord of the Reefs, and you are laughing. You watch Akpan and Oduma. You watch some of all those, what do you call them? Comedians, entertainers, Two-Face, and the rest of them. You feel they are just skillful or talented. Nobody pays you for being talented. You only pay for being skillful. It takes information to turn talent into skills. Skills are what people pay. People don't pay for talent. Don't think because you are talented you will naturally succeed. There's something Two-Face knows beyond talent that has brought him up there. There's something Davido knows beyond talent that has brought him up there. You think it's just talent, ability to sing. Anybody can sing. There are people who know how to sing better than Davido. They know how to sing better than Two-Face. But they are in their kitchen singing and washing plates. Nobody knows them. There are other extra training. Do you know the kind of training Two-Face has attended to be able to sing before a crowd of 10,000? Do you know how many training? Do you know the kind of training Two-Face, Tiwa Savage, Whiskey must have been able to go through to be able to stand at O2 Arena in London and sing? White people, black Americans, or London and all that British are all there watching a small boy. Do you know the kind of training? You think it's just singing? The guy must have studied things in the area of music. He must have studied things in the area of how to entertain and hold a crowd. He must have gone for some kind of dangerous kind of trainings to be able to get to that level. But what we do is to go and pay them money and then sit down and watch them entertain you. Can't you see AY? If you see his comedy, you know it's professional. There are some guys in your compound that can make you laugh more than AY. So it's not because AY is a comedian that is successful. There are things he knows. Have you watched his movie, 30 Days in Atlanta? Have you watched it? If you watch it, you understand. There's a recent one Ramsey Noah did. I think they have done this. They've done the premiere of that movie. Living in Bondage. The same old Living in Bondage. He brought that movie back again. Used some of the characters like Bob Manuel Udoku. Used Kenneth Okonkwo, who acted as Andy in the other. In this one, Kenneth Okonkwo is a pastor, is a priest in it. He used Kanayo. The same, some of the casts that he could find. And then they did a refined cinema version of Living in Bondage. Is out of the world. There's this one that Ramsey Noah with, what is his name? William Suchemba with Files. And then, what is AY? What's the other guy's name? I've forgotten the other one I saw. A new movie they did. If you see the movie, is out of the world. The title is even very funny. Who knows the title? Merry Men. You watch those things, you see them, and you'll be wondering, how are people able to come, bring their heads together and create these things? You think it falls from heaven. People are walking. You go to the west, you see what people are doing. You come to the east, we are sleeping because there's no challenge around us here. Sleeping. You put a seminar, you treat it like it's your normal whatever. You go to Lagos now, a conference like this, the whole hall is jam full because they know the value. Yorubas know the value of education more than you. That's why Southeast, what you are doing here is you're doing here fighting for stupid things. All we are saying. Look at your airport. Only international airport you have is shut down. Go and shut Lagos on, let's see. An average youth in school like you in Unilag is already a businessman, a CEO. He already has a company. He's not going to school for any other thing important. He's going there because he just wants to get paper. That's how he's going to feed. It's just paper. He already has something to offer his generation. He already has a vision to offer his generation. Go to Lagos Business School, you see them there in their truckload. They come here, you can't find them. Because we have high regard for ignorance. Laziness has become the order of the day. You can't pick a book and finish it. You can't buy books. When you see a book, you won't buy. I have some books behind here. Go and get a copy of it and buy. One is 1,000 naira. A copy is supposed to be 3,000. We reduce it for you so you can get it affordably. You see book. No, you don't want book. If you see shawarma, you go and stand. I did a conference at Abakaliki ICC, the International Conference Center. Jammed the whole place. I asked some people, one of the SG president, one of the campuses, I said, mobilize your students and make sure you guys are all there, especially your ESCOs. The guy told me, okay, sir, what about the mobilization? I said, which one is mobilization? He said, we will need money to mobilize. I said, perish with your students. To go and perish. I will do a conference to educate you guys, bring resources to train you, and I will give you money to mobilize you guys. Are you mad? I said, I carry knowledge and information you should be running after. Whatever costs it will take you to go for knowledge, pay the price for it. I told him, I said, I go all the way to Lagos, to Ibadan, even travel out of the country. I pay heavily to sit down and learn for days, for weeks. Buy books, buy tapes. I came here to wake you up this night. I'm sure some of you are already waking up. I'm sure some of you are waking up already. Leave your too much of jamboree. That's why you see, I don't entertain people. Sorry, you may not like me this way. But the truth of the matter is that when I talk like this, you even like me more. Because you know the man is telling the truth. The hard truth that most people will not tell you. For instance, the last time I drove around the city, I couldn't find a library again. In the whole boy. If there's anyone anywhere you know, please show me because I've looked for it. I couldn't find. The one I know somewhere around here is shut down completely. Last time I checked there, about 2-3 times I went there, I didn't see anybody. Whole place is war geckos climbing everywhere. If there's a new one, I don't know where it is. Maybe there's one, I don't know. But you go everywhere, there are hotels. You go everywhere, there are entertainments. There are all kinds of beer parlors everywhere. Eateries. And I'm asking for who are they building this thing? No more libraries. And our young people are ignorant. Ignorant. Mention 10 people who shaped history. If you can mention 5 to 10 people who have contributed immensely to shaping history. Talk to me about their biography in brief. If you can do that for me, you'll be my friend tonight. Come and take the mic and do it. Let me even put a price. I'll give you a check of 50,000 now. Here and now. Look at how 50,000 is going. 10 people. You can talk to me about them. Tell me a few things you know about these guys. How they shaped history. Maybe inventors, social reformers, politicians or leaders of captains of industries in history who are not alive again, who shaped history. 10. I'll give you a check of. I will even give you a check. I'll transfer it now. I'll do it here now. I'll transfer you, get the alert, and you show your people that, see, the man is serious, so he sent me 50K. Come out and take the money. See how some people have just lost 50K? Because success is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. You see, our 50,000 has gone. It has gone. Hide yourself and develop yourself, young lady. Stop carrying that your fine face up and down and deceiving yourself. It has no value. It's perishable. Hello. There's one thing that doesn't perish, even after you have died, is your legacy. Is your impact. Is your footprint on the sand of time. That's what will not perish. That's what will last. That's what will stand the test of time. That's why even men like Nelson Mandela who are dead and gone, they are still remembered, they are still talked about, they are still celebrated, they are dead. You can still read about their books. I have some of his books. You see books like Road to Greatness and all of the amazing things the man was talking about. You see books like The Audacity of Courage. Okay, that's not Nelson Mandela. I think that's Obama. They still speak volume, even when they are dead. You're going to grow old one day with this your fine face and pointed breast. Don't worry. When you marry, some of you who are doing slay girls, when your junior comes, senior comes, and all those children comes, they will suck it flat. You see this your belly that you're doing Bobrisky with. When you give birth to 3, in fact 2 alone, it will shrink. It's the way it will fold like this. And I know women don't like showing that part when they think now. They always wear some things to cover it up. When the breast now goes down, you start wearing Wonder bra. That's when some of you enter depression. Start using your sweet 16 to brag before your daughters. Say, when I was 16 years, I was finer than you. Shut up. When I was 18 years, you need to see how pointed my breast was. You need to see how pointed my bum bum was. You need to see, hey, that's not where the value is. The value is in what you have stored upstairs. I've seen old women with gray hair. I met one. Oh my goodness. I was climbing up the aircraft. That was in Lagos. I was returning back to Enugu. I was climbing up the staircase of the aircraft. And then behold this old woman with the husband. Old. The husband had this fanciful walking stick. Old. When I mean old, old. They both held their hands, walking like with glasses. And I was behind them. And I was hearing the conversation. They both had uniforms on. The wife was talking. He said, baby. I said, he should? Baby. This man is 100 and something years. Maybe you're 90 years. And you're saying baby. I said, baby, do you remember when we were at Massachusetts in the United States? How you told me that I was still very strong and agile. Do you remember that? Oh boy. Remember what Professor Lincoln said? I said, I said, at their age, old, still talking like this. When they were about to climb the stair, I volunteered. I said, let me help you. He said, oh, thank you very much, son. You are a different kind of African. In Africa, they don't help leaders climb the staircase. It's only in America we do all that. We don't help people to climb staircase in Africa. Why are Nigerian men so heartless? 90 years old man. I said, Mama, I know Sadio, I want to only help you climb staircase. And I had the woman said, helping her climbing the stair. And the man was here. Hello, chap. You were very tall. Did you play baseball or basketball? I said, no. I did that when I was in secondary school and early university, but now I'm full-time minister. Oh, you wasted this heart. Old people, when they spoke, you could see the beauty in their life. Their hair are like all white, so neat, golden. Some of you, the way you will go with ignorance, when you grow old, the way some of you will look. The way some of you will look. Because you're not investing in knowledge. I found out something about wisdom, about knowledge. When you invest in knowledge, it renews your youth. Hello? Even when you are finally grown old, there's a way people see you. You could be old, but they want to be around you. Have you noticed there are some old people that people don't like to get close to? There are old people I won't get close to. But there are some of these old people you come close to, their teeth are still intact. Old though, they still look fine and fresh. They still read, even if they use glasses, they are still sharp. Nothing makes this your brain smart and sharp like reading. When you read, your brain, even when you hit 100, you are still sharp and smart. You still behaving like a young person in your old age. But you refuse to invest in knowledge, invest in study, invest in reading, invest in attending seminars and attending all kinds of symposiums. All you do is run from pillar to post, attending parties and attending junks. Even when you're young, you grow old fast. So I came to shift your thoughts. It's a paradigm shift meeting tonight. Go back understanding that there's something you must give value to. You must give attention to. It has more value than your beauty. Guys, stop wasting your time thinking you have anything to gain by being a fine boy. Now what is reigning is beards. Beards competition. Do you see any beards around me? What concerns me with beards? If you want to grow beard, grow beard. No, nobody has a problem with that. When I was in secondary school, I used to do some crazy things. I used to have comb at the back of my pocket. We did things. Go to school, you bring out your comb, you put your spray, whatever you want to spray, and start combing. So girls will be seeing how fine you are. It doesn't rain again. If you are carrying comb in your pocket and there's no reasonable amount in your account, nobody comes close to you. Guys, are you hearing what I'm saying? Hello? Fine boy doesn't pay. Hello? I said fine boy doesn't. How many of you know that small boy they call, what's his name again? He's not a small boy, but he's short. One ugly guy on the internet who says he's richer than Dangote. What's his name? Shadabando. I'm happy you know this one. If you see his teeth, very ugly. One short guy. I saw a recent video of his where he was using money to make phone call. Hello? Who is this? I will talk with you later. He dropped the money. He said, why am I too rich? Why am I just so rich? I don't know why. If you know the ladies who will be queuing up for that guy, as ugly and short as he is, Aki and Papa, they're not short. But they are married and they have children. There's some boys who are very, very fine. Say they left his sweet bobo, fine boy, cute boy, and married her grandfather. Is it not correct? 17, 18 years old girl married a man who already has 5 wives. I think she's the 6th wife. Can you imagine that? Why? Kule. Everybody say kule. Everybody say kule. Why did she marry the fine bobo? There's nothing about your fine bobo that counts. What counts is the investment you have made in yourself. Investment of knowledge, investment of wisdom, investment of information, investment of values. And maybe I will end with that one. Be a person of value. Go and overwrite all your negative vices. Where you are a person of laziness, become a person of hard work. Where you are a person of carelessness, become a person of diligence. Don't be reckless about things that matters. Go the extra mile, put in extra effort to become something significant. Great men don't rest because they are tired. Great men rest because they've achieved their goals. All this issue of I'm tired, let me rest now is nonsense. You have a whole many years to rest. When we say rest in peace, that's when you will rest forever. Some of you are 30 years. I don't even know who is 30 years. Some of you are 24, 25. Some of you are even teenagers. This is your morning stage. This is when you should walk. You are in your spring. Some of you have entered your summer. This is when you should walk. This is when you should till the soil. Till the soil of your destiny. Invest in yourself now. It's not time for you to rest. What are you resting? What are you sleeping 8 hours doing? This now you should be competing with books. Assemble books in your living room. Line them up like this. You need to see what I read. When I read, I write in my books, I underline. Once I read, I drop it. The next book is what I'm looking out for. And I deliberately underline my books so I can show you books I've finished reading. Some of you can't show me one book your whole life you ever read successfully from one page to the last page. You can't show me. It's a shame. You can't influence your world. It's a shame. And you know yourself. I don't need to prophesy. You know yourself. You can't show one book you open. When I was in university, do you know all the books I bought from my lecturers, even my school books? You know, usually now, they sell books to you, but they don't finish the books in the class. They just show you a few chapters, a few topics, and they deal with that and they go. Do you know, I didn't drop anyone. I read all. All. Every time we closed from one semester, I'll go back to those textbooks, some of those management books, some of those political books, some of all those, whatever book is called. I will go back to them. I read from chapter 1 again. All the things were not taught in class. I'll go and learn them on my own. What students did in my time, and even do up till now, is that they only focus on areas they taught them. And then the reason they even read is for the purpose of writing and passing the exam. You are a very ignorant person. If all you can show me is A you made from preparing for exam, then you are an ignorant person indeed. I took those books as serious as this is my life. I'll go back from page 1 and read to the last page just to get information, have it for myself. It's not for the lecturer. And I would always mark them. And I write in the book, I will mark. That's how you come to my office, you see books that are marked. Books that are marked. Books. That's how to tell you I finished reading the book. You can't show me one book you successfully read from the first cover to the last cover. You read 1 or 2 pages, you abandoned it and face your failure. Read another one, abandon it and face your failure. You are not going to head anywhere in life. I want to challenge every young person here. Even if I didn't speak in such a language that you will like. You don't need to like me. Hello? You don't need to like me. The truth is bitter. It's like injection. And anytime we are challenging you out of the comfort zone, it's not sweet. Because we are trying to steer you away from what you have been doing before and steer you into a new order, into a new path, a path that would benefit you, that will profit you. Get tapes. Be a person who value tapes. Some books are now compressed in audio format. If you cannot get books and read them, get audio tapes, your internet, download them. Some of you use smartphones. Download audio tapes, business tapes, inspirational tapes, whatever tapes, historical tapes. Read them, study them, listen to them. Get away some of these Davidos on your phone. You don't need them. And fill them with all kinds of information that will enrich your mind, that will develop you. Another assignment I'll give you. When you go home, get a sheet of paper and write down all your vices, all the negative practices that you carry out. Write them out on one paper. Get another paper and write out all the values you now need to adopt to cancel those vices. I gave you a few examples. If you are a lazy person, write it down. There are some exams you need to set for yourself and mark yourself. I won't set them for you. You need to set it yourself in all sincerity. Number 1, I am lazy in capital letter. On the other paper, write hard work is a value. Laziness is a vice to destroy you. Maybe you have a problem with indiscipline. I am indisciplined. Write it on the other paper. Adopt another value. It's called discipline. Maybe another vice that runs your life is hatred for reading. You can write it. And then write another one, a new value. Can call it value for reading, for development, or competence. Write it, value for competence, value for self-development, value for self-improvement. That's self-improvement. Find out all your vices. Write them down on one paper. Then find out the values you need to adopt to replace all those vices, one after the other. Place the one that deals with values in front of you. Every morning when you wake up, before you leave your house, that's what you should look at. When you have prayed, done your morning prayers and all that, look at all those values again. And confess those values to yourself. Today, I declare that I'm a disciplined man. I declare that I'm a man who is hardworking and not lazy. Make deliberate effort to avoid the things that plunder you, that gets you into activities that create, if you have company or friends of people who make it difficult for you to stay with the right things, you have to cut off from such company. Hello. There are some company you will lose now to gain them tomorrow. Are you hearing what I'm saying? And some of you, when you start gaining them tomorrow, you won't gain them as friends, you will gain them as fans. There's a guy who used to do rap. He used to do breakdance, Michael Jackson. Those days when we were reading book, all he does is, every time, he will come to my parlor. He say, man, there's this new Michael Jackson move. Man. He will play one track on my stereo. My father's house was secondary school. This guy would do stunts. He would do all those backslide. He would do all those. I was tripped. I was like, oh boy, man. When he finished doing all those things, I said, thank you very much for coming. Can I go and read now? He said, guy, I need to teach you how to dance this dance, man. My classmate, as I'm talking to you, he calls me every day, even up to this afternoon. I think you were with me in the afternoon. There was somebody who called me. I was talking with you. I said, I got your text. It's not what you think. I will call you back. That's the guy I'm talking about. He just got admission. After many years of wasting his year, he graduated more than how many years ago. This one just got admission now. And then guess what? He's begging from here and there, looking for money to pay his school fees. But he had opportunity to go to school there when his father was still healthy and still had money to train. Now the father is old, he's in the village, no money again. This guy blew his destiny, wasted his future, running from here and there, carrying women and breakdancing for them. The same person who used to be his friend and his classmate, he's calling him now and telling him, hello sir, hello Rev, hello Reverend, please sir, do you have time to talk with me now? I would say, can you call me back by 10 o'clock? He will call by 10 o'clock. I will send him a text, can we talk tomorrow? He will say, no problem sir, Rev, I really need your help, please sir. God bless you sir. The other day he called me, it was one of my secretaries who picked, or one of my peers or pastors who picked. I said, pastor is in a meeting now. Can you go back? I said, oh, sorry. I'll go back later. What is that thing that makes people fail? Find those things out. Cancel them from your life. May you not have classmates and age mates you will answer sir to tomorrow. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Because of your recklessness and your carelessness. If anybody should answer anybody, sir, they should come and answer you, sir. Are you getting what I'm saying? Don't be in that category of people who will look back at 20 years' time, 20 years backwards, and regret all the actions of their yesterday. Regret all the laziness. Regret all the time they wasted in sleep. Don't be in that category. You have all the time to sleep when you are old, not now. This is when you should be awake walking. This is when you should be awake digging it deep. This is when you should be awake paying the price. I close you with these 3 words. There are 3 things you must determine if you want to become great. Number 1, find out what you want in life. Number 2, find out the price you would have to pay to acquire what you want. And then number 3, resolve at every cost to pay that price. These 3 things must not leave your head. Find out what you want in life. If it is greatness you want, if it is success you want to be one of the men who will shake the world, who will leave an impact in this last stage. You want to do things that would write your name on marbles of time, on the sand of time. Find out that thing. Number 2, find out the cost. What is the cost? What will it take to get to that future? Then number 3, when you have found out the cost, determine to pay that price. The price you're not paying is simply tied to the fact that you don't know what you're pursuing. I know what I'm pursuing and I know the price to pay for it. Find out that thing. Find out the price and then resolve to pay the price. God bless you.
We believe you've been transformed by the wonders of God's Word. For additional information about us, you can visit our website at www.princetonhills.org. You can also send us a mail at info@princetonhills.org or call 070-331-66762 or 081-31-555-747. Princeton Hills Ministries, raising global leaders.